Greetings. Let's talk. So, yes, it has been a while, and while I'm not someone who feels beholden to keep my channel up to date on every moment of my life, and I don't feel like I owe anyone an explanation. I am someone who feels like there are teachable moments in life, and there are teachable moments in my SCA life, and I would be doing everyone a disservice if I learned from them and didn't, share them. So let me start off by saying that the last couple months were kind of overarched by some mental health concerns on my part. For those of you who might be aware, the August-September Arch is about the 1-year anniversary of when my family lost 2 of our cats in unrelated medical issues 2 weeks apart. And I don't think it was really until like the last 6 weeks that I really came to appreciate how profoundly that is still affecting me. I have a wonderful support system. I have a family who love me. I have a lot of good friends here. This is not a cry for help. This is not saying that this is some insurmountable challenge, but I was not self-aware of how much that trauma affected me. And when the 1-year anniversary came around, that it had its effects. Now, it didn't have any profound effects. I can't point to a particular moment or event and say that radically changed things, but that was a layer on top of everything else that has come in this past couple months. So on top of that, as many of you know, or might have heard at least, we have a little bit of home renovation going, kind of spread out over the last year, and the last phase of that was getting some new tile put into our bedroom, which meant we had to empty the entire bedroom, which meant we had to find space for all of our stuff because our bedroom is large, it has a lot of stuff in it, which meant we weren't sleeping on our bed because there's not room to set the bed up anywhere else in the house. So for about 2 weeks total, I was sleeping on the recliner in the living room, and this whole space in my office was storage space for a bunch of the stuff that came in from the shop, or came in from the bedroom. So that was part of the reason why I wasn't doing videos, was I didn't have access to my studio. Kind of in the middle of all of that, maybe just a little before, I was contacted by, and I mentioned this in my last 2 Let's Make Something videos, I was contacted for a commission that I would be making a pilgrim's badge for Onstiore's Kingdom Arts and Sciences event. Now, when I say pilgrim's badge, let me clarify this. Of course, pilgrim's badge is a historical term. It refers to usually pewter cast trinkets or badges that were sold along the Crusader routes on the way to the Holy Land. In this specific case, that term has been repurposed to refer to an award given out by the Crown for people who score above a certain threshold at Kingdom Arts and Sciences. And I was contacted by the organizer and asked if I could design and commission 20 medallion badges for the event. And I had it all spaced out. I was working on it. You saw the work I was doing. And then I hit a major roadblock. I was not paying attention to how thick I had made my blank. And that thickness is important because when you're casting 20 of them, that's all just pewter in mass that adds up quickly. And I cast one test one and very quickly realized it would be $300 in pewter to cast 20 of those. That's how heavy it was. So it took me, I think at that point I had 7 days, 7 days worth of 2 and 3 hour nights between the design and the model so far, making that model. So that weekend, which was only 3 weeks out from the event at that point, I told my wife in a panic, I have to redo this. I have to make a completely new model, same design, with a thinner blank, so it used less pewter. And I redid the entire modeling process, which was, I don't know, probably 15 hours in a madcap dash. One Saturday I started at like 10 in the morning and I finished in time. I finished just after dinner. I skipped dinner. I didn't have dinner with the family, so I think it was like 8 that night that I finally got the model cast. Or I got the model finished to the point where I was satisfied with it. Which is why I didn't make any more Let's Make Stuff videos, because I didn't have the bandwidth of the time to film. I had to concentrate on getting that done. Because this was a commission. Someone was buying pewter for me. I had agreed to make this. I had a kingdom that was depending on me to deliver these for the recipients. So I had my priorities. And on top of that, as if I don't have enough going on, I reached a point in my life recently, probably around June, I think, where I realized I was in a good position, practically, emotionally, and logistically, schedule-wise, where I could re-engage with my barony as an officer. So I applied to become our chatelaine, which for some players you may recognize that as the Hospitaller. And so I applied for, and I am now the baronial chatelaine, which is the Newcomer's Resource Officer. And if that sounds like a busy couple of months, it was. It absolutely was. Was it more busy than I planned on? Yes. Even accounting for how busy it was I ready for the kind of emotional toll it took on me, the way things worked out? And the answer is no. I really wasn't. There were certain things that snuck up on me. Some of it was the anxiety of miscalculating that model. Like, I had some high-level players who were counting on me to deliver that. And I'm not saying that I would have been banished or castigated or frowned on. Things fall through. They understand that. But that doesn't mean that I take the prospects of falling through on the promise lightly. So that weighed heavily on me. My mental health did not help with the stress of having to sleep in a recliner while the house was being, while we had friends over helping us get that floor finished and so forth. And of course, my office and my studio space here, it was completely overrun with stuff. So I didn't have my normal safe space where I could kind of curl up, get on my computer, and work. And what are the takeaways from this? I'm sitting here sharing all this with you. And let me be absolutely clear. This is not a sob story. I'm not saying this for sympathy or pity or anything like that. I feel like if I'm going to sit here, and I've said this before, if I'm going to sit here and act like I've got my life together, I also need to be a little bit transparent with you about when it's not together. Looking flawless, trying to look flawless, trying to look faultless doesn't serve any purpose. It simply reinforces unhealthy stereotypes, and that's not why I'm doing this. But there are some takeaways. As much as I love creating this content for you, as much as I love helping new or returning or even veteran members reevaluate or learn about certain subjects in the SCA, as much as I hated not being able to make the videos, I did have to make a decision of, okay, what am I going to prioritize? And it didn't take me very long to go, okay, the videos have to stop. I don't have the bandwidth. And I have made the wrong decision on that type of prioritization in the past. Not necessarily with the videos, but when I was younger, there were times where I prioritized an SCA project over a work project. There were times where I prioritized SCA over getting something fixed that we desperately needed in the house or in a car. Those are not healthy decisions, and they carry real world repercussions. So my absence is not a good thing to you. I'm not trying to hold this up as any high virtue, but it is an example of when you have to make the hard decisions. It is a hard decision you need to make, and there's a right answer a lot of the time. So this is me practicing what I preach. And I think last but not least, I'm gonna wrap this up with a bit of an bit of a story. Words, me not working tonight. A younger me was the type of person who loved to go find, like when we were done with an event, I would look for the biggest possible party I could to go hang out at. Like 25, 30 people were going to go out to dinner, I was there. That's where I wanted to be. The energy of a crowd absolutely charged me. And when that party was over, especially if I was at an event by myself, my wife is much more of an introvert, so we have to balance, how far we go and who we hang out with along both of our criteria. But in her case, if she's home or if she's not at the event or she's maybe having dinner with someone else, especially if it's at a larger event where we're eating dinner on site or camping or something, I'd be out late, I'd be up late chatting. That was just me. And I want to say it was about a year ago, maybe 8 months, I first realized that the thought of going to dinner with a group of 10 people and chatting with them utterly drained me. Like, just zapped me on a level I really had not contemplated since I was going through chemotherapy. Like, it really struck me as odd. And I puzzled over that for close to, God, 7 months. And it was only recently that I was talking with my wife. And I mentioned, as part of another conversation, that, wow, I don't want to go hang out with people right now. I just want to, like, 2 friends, you, me, 2 friends, and I want to go have dinner. Like, that was how we were wrapping up that event. And she looked at me, and I'd never mentioned this to her before, so it wasn't something she'd had any history talking about with me in this context. And she said, "You do realize that grief can change how your mind processes stuff. It can change your mental chemistry." Now, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole for 2 very important reasons. One, you are not me. We have very different psychological, physiological, medical histories. 2, there's a point where this becomes none of your business. My grief in my life is my own. But that realization that even though I was aware I was depressed, and because of the memory of those 2 of our 2 dear family members passing like that, I had not fully processed how fundamentally that had changed me, and I do believe it has. I do believe that has kind of shifted things a little. And the takeaway for this, the lesson I want you to learn here is it's okay to go it alone. There are plenty of times, plenty of challenges where it is just me and whatever tools I have and so forth. But so many times in my life, the journey, the voyage, the challenge, the hardship, the heartache, the pain, whatever, has been made better, been made easier, been improved by reaching out and just communicating with the people closest to me, whether it is my wife, whether it is my friends, whether it is my mentors. And as much as I talk, as much as I share information, there are things I don't inherently communicate. There are things I do inherently keep very close to my chest. And a lot of that is what today we would call a trauma response from a lot of challenges I had as an adolescent. But I'm not an adolescent anymore. I can learn to change my behaviors piece by piece. And one of those behaviors I do need to change is I do need to be more forthcoming, more communicative, even more than I am now, with those closest to me for reasons just like I outlined. And I want you to take that example, and maybe that'll speak to you. Maybe that will prompt someone to pick up the phone or pull up their computer and just chat with that friend or family member they haven't yet. But mental health in general is not a great big show. It's an ongoing, constant process, even for the healthiest of us, down to the not so healthy, down to those who are challenged by ongoing, lifelong hurdles they have to get over. It's a process, and I'm hoping that this video helps a couple of people make that process a little bit easier. So I will be back with more content. I have plenty of thoroughly SCA topics that I want to share and that I want to help bring to the community, especially for newer members or possible transplants from other kingdoms on Stiora. And as we go into the winter months, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. I'm looking forward to having those conversations and seeing what there is out there that we still want to talk about, want to learn about. But until then, goodbye, God bless. I'll see you at the next event. If there are two things I've learned that drive videos these days, it's controversy and engagement. Now, I am never going to fly the controversy flag on a regular basis. It's not what I'm here for. It's not the content I want to make, and I really don't think it helps any of us. But let's do engagement. If you like this video, please go down in the comments and leave a comment. Make sure to share the video. And last but not least, easiest of all, make sure to like the video. That helps drive the algorithm. It helps get the video views and helps promote this material. Thank you very much.